This discussion will focus on how South Africa plans to capitalize on that opportunity to develop a world-leading hydrogen economy through renewable energy.
Prof. Dimitri, with your involvement in the hydrogen roadmap in South Africa, maybe you could kick off this discussion for us by explaining why hydrogen is currently being considered.
Hydrogen technology is not new for South Africa, it's not new for the rest of the world. Sasol is the largest producer of hydrogen in South Africa. It's, I think, about 2% of the world global hydrogen production is behind Sasol. It's a very large number. Low carbon hydrogen is only possible to produce using renewable electricity, renewable energy resources. And that brings us to the second point of discussion, that South Africa is very rich with solar radiation, with renewable energy resources, one of the best actually countries in the world. Those energy resources can be used successfully to produce hydrogen. Hydrogen is just not a feedstock that is used in petrochemical industry or ammonia production or methanol and whatnot. It's also a fuel for sustainable mobility, and it's also the huge energy storage. It's energy carrier actually. The so-called PGM, platinum group metals. These are essential elements to kick off the hydrogen economy. You have to have iridium and platinum in the devices that makes hydrogen. You have to have platinum in the fuel cells that are using this hydrogen. So all those things come together and put in South Africa in a very favorable position, not to mention that we actually can export our sunshine in the form of hydrogen.
We know that the global demand for energy is expected to increase by up to 40% by 2050. And with today's energy production still significantly exposed to fossil fuels, we see the hydrogen economy as an important enabler of the transition to a renewable energy mix. Now, if we consider what that means to us as Anglo American Platinum, we have again two areas that we're looking at hydrogen. The one is certainly as a market for our products, and the other area is the area of our own decarbonisation. We've seen multiple national scale activities in the hydrogen space, and many of these we've played an active role in to shape or create this. There's multiple use cases of hydrogen and fuel cell technologies to this extent. We've also continued to form strategic partnerships with various players across the sector who will benefit from the growth of the hydrogen economy and to find ways to work together to accelerate the development of this hydrogen economy. Quite a bit of our focus and energy goes into the development of fuel cell electric vehicles because of the very specific applications between battery electric and fuel cell electric vehicles. And to this extent, not only for the development of the market and playing our role in the technology development, but certainly also in our own role to decarbonize. One of our biggest Scope 1 emissions is in the area of our haul trucks. And we are busy developing a hydrogen-based zero-emission 300-ton haulage solution. And this means we're taking the lead on developing an entire integrated solution.
Sasol is at any point in time doing around 2.3 million tons of grey hydrogen, which we use in our technology, Fischer-Tropsch, which is mainly using a source of carbon or CO and hydrogen. And then, the magic happens in Fischer-Tropsch, and it makes all the products from fuels to chemicals that we have in the company. The potential for hydrogen to contribute to the energy security and trade for South Africa is significant, and we believe also that Sasol is very well placed to play a key role there in the hydrogen economy that we will definitely be part of, and we look forward to collaborate with other players to really monetize this as a huge opportunity and growth node for South Africa Incorporated.
Infrastructure, that's a big hurdle. How do you see that being overcome?
Which starts first, infrastructure or technology deployment. That has to be linked to the volume of the deployment, to the volume of business, to the volume of the units and so forth. And I think that the green hydrogen technology or low carbon hydrogen technology has not reached maturity level yet. And for that, a relatively adequate infrastructure that can be used already, actually it does exist. And Natasha mentioned about LOHC technology. I just want to be a little bit technical here. This technology allows to transport hydrogen to the end point of use by existing infrastructure, by existing oil and gas infrastructure, by existing tanks and so forth. Secondly, as we're still at the beginning of the large deployment of low carbon technology, hydrogen technology, there are options to produce hydrogen on site. And that eliminates a significant cost of the transportation and storage of hydrogen. And I'm talking about the technology that is called electrolysis. So this is another option to address the challenge of significant infrastructure. And the last thing that maybe I could mention about infrastructure, and that speaks also to the volume of the business. In some cases, this infrastructure issue has to be considered as a total package of the technology, it's not a separate. For example, the fuel cell long hauling, the heavy duty vehicles in the mining sector or in the public transport, they all come back to the depot, to the same depot after the duty cycle. And for that, you can save a lot of money on developing hydrogen infrastructure to refuel them. And this is totally different from the passenger vehicles that would require significant infrastructural deployment across the highways and so forth.
It will help to kickstart the hydrogen economy in terms of job creation. It is helping us with a just transition from the coal to oil to renewables type of thoughts. And the other thing is really bringing in new focus areas on how do you think about mobility, and how can South Africa then emerge in terms of the other points that was mentioned today, fuel cell vehicle development. What does it mean for the South African automotive industry as an opportunity? What does it mean in terms of the infrastructure development for the hydrogen corridors that Anglo and Sasol is talking about? We've got a collaboration that we've announced with Toyota to focus on heavy vehicle trucks to get the demonstration and infrastructure developed in South Africa, because we believe we have an opportunity there to set up refueling of hydrogen stations, and we can do it as quick as within the next year or two, because we can move currently from grey hydrogen for that purpose, and we can within the next 24 months be ready to produce green hydrogen from repurposed facilities in our Sasolburg operations, and to really get that going with heavy duty trucks and buses and the like. And the collaboration opportunities with others along those thoughts. I mean, if I look at Anglo's quest, where they would like to do the same in the corridor, but also focusing on mining heavy machinery equipment, you can look at quite an interesting value chain that you can get going and get that kickstart to develop infrastructure, albeit from a very small base, but it will be a progressive journey to get South Africa fully developed on a hydrogen economy that needs those infrastructure elements.